Welcome back to Narcissism Freedom. If you're returning, thank you for walking this healing path with courage. And if this is your first time here, know this. You didn't find this message by accident. You're here because something in your life shifted. Something ended. Something broke open. And now, you're standing at the edge of a new version of yourself. There are moments in life when loss doesn't feel like loss at all. It feels like collapse. Like the ground disappeared under your feet. Especially when that loss came from someone who once meant everything to you. Someone who convinced you that your value depended on them. Someone who made you feel small so they could feel powerful. If you're listening to this, you know that pain. You know what it's like to give your heart, your loyalty, your time, and receive confusion, control, and emotional chaos in return. Narcissistic abuse doesn't just hurt your feelings. It fractures your sense of self. It rewrites your identity in their voice. But here's the truth they never wanted you to discover. They didn't lose you because you failed. They lost you because you were growing. And growth and control can never coexist. Sometimes divine timing looks cruel at first. It removes people before you feel ready. It dismantles routines you thought you needed. It ends relationships you were still fighting for. And in that moment, all you can see is what you lost. But divine timing isn't about comfort. It's about alignment. You were being prepared for a life that couldn't include who you used to be. And it couldn't include who they needed you to stay. There comes a point in every survivor's journey where the fog starts to lift. You begin to see the manipulation, the gaslighting, the emotional traps that kept you doubting your own perception. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's not coincidence. That's timing. You didn't wake up one day and suddenly become too much. You woke up and became too aware, too self-respecting, too grounded to keep accepting crumbs disguised as love. And when you changed, the relationship had to change. Or end. Most people think the narcissist walked away because they didn't care. But more often, they left because they couldn't control you anymore. They felt the shift in your energy before you ever spoke it out loud. They felt you pulling your power back. And power is the one thing they cannot tolerate in someone else. So they exited. Or you were forced to exit, and it felt like rejection, like abandonment, like you weren't chosen. But what if that ending was actually selection? What if divine timing removed you because you were ready for more than survival? You see, narcissistic abuse traps you in a cycle of waiting. Waiting for them to change. Waiting for clarity. Waiting for respect. Waiting for the version of them you believed in to finally show up. Divine timing doesn't wait. It moves you. It breaks the cycle by breaking the bond. And when it does, it doesn't ask if you're comfortable. It asks if you're ready. And readiness isn't about confidence. It's about capacity. The capacity to hold truth. To sit with grief. To face yourself without the illusion. That's why everything in your life may have started falling apart all at once. Your relationship, your sense of identity, your plans, your future image. But what you call falling apart was actually falling into place. You were being emptied so you could be filled. You were being stripped of who you had to be to survive, so you could become who you were meant to be to live. And that's why they had to lose you. Because you couldn't rise while staying small. You couldn't heal while being hidden. You couldn't step into your calling while shrinking your voice to protect someone else's ego. Divine timing demanded your freedom. And freedom is disruptive. It changes your taste, your tolerance, your direction. You start to see clearly where you once hoped blindly. You stop negotiating with disrespect. You stop romanticizing inconsistency. You stop mistaking intensity for intimacy. And suddenly, the life you were trying to hold on to doesn't fit anymore. That's not failure. That's evolution. You weren't late to your life. You were right on time. The delay you thought was punishment was actually protection. It kept you from entering spaces, relationships, and roles before you were ready to stand in them fully. You had to be refined first. And refinement isn't gentle. It burns off illusion. It exposes attachment. It challenges your identity. It asks you to let go of who you were in order to receive who you're becoming. And when you finally release what no longer aligns, everything begins to accelerate. Opportunities start appearing. Your intuition sharpens. Your energy changes. Your presence deepens. And people notice. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're finally being yourself. That's the rise. Not fame. Not validation. Not revenge. The rise is peace. The rise is clarity. The rise is no longer needing someone else to confirm your worth. And that's what they lost when they lost you. They lost access to your light. They lost control over your narrative. They lost the version of you that kept them comfortable while you were slowly disappearing. And you gained yourself. You gained your voice. You gained your future. You gained your power. Divine timing doesn't punish. It repositions. It takes you out of environments that were limiting your expansion and places you into seasons that require your full presence.
And you can feel it now.
Your standards are higher. Your patience is shorter. Your intuition is louder. Your heart is wiser. You don't chase anymore. You choose. You don't beg anymore. You become. You don't stay where you're tolerated. You move where you're aligned. That's divine timing working in your favor. So if you're in the middle of the aftermath right now, the silence, the rebuilding, the uncertainty, don't mistake this season for stagnation. This is incubation. This is the space where everything changes.
Not outwardly at first,
but internally. And internal shifts create external revolutions. You're not lost. You're being redirected. You're not behind. You're being prepared. You're not broken. You're being rebuilt. And the version of you that emerges from this chapter will never settle for what once broke them. So let them think they won. Let them think they left first. Let them think they still have power over your story. Because while they're stuck repeating old patterns, you're rising into a new identity. One that doesn't need permission. One that doesn't seek approval. One that doesn't fear solitude. Because solitude taught you who you are. And now that you know, nothing and no one gets to define you again. If this message spoke to you, let it settle in your spirit. Share it with someone who's walking this same road. And remember, your rise didn't happen in spite of what you lost. It happened because of it. You didn't miss your moment. You met it, right on time.